attacks occur individually. So at that time of the recording, they were going at those specific areas of your body.
Right. Okay.
That trumpet sound is back there, that trumpet fanfare.
Okay.
They made a statement, left brain injury. That was probably from the double hit to the head.
Right.
They made a statement green. I don't know the other statement. That could be the color for acoustics. That could be a laser technology. They also have like little buttons as well. Okay, if they're simulating attack, usually green means go, red means don't fire, right? If they're doing attack. So remember they were talking about in the other recording, I think, the Aimeesaudio one, they were talking about helping them pump.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so they have to pump and prep the circles and the weapon systems. And they are talking about the spaceport right now. They said circles up in spaceport. So I think that green, and they did make a statement like, check the frequency channel, right? I think that might relate to the spaceport as well. And then when they checked it, that's where the green statement came into play. Green means go.
Okay.
Did make a statement, buy our houses.
Fly our houses?
Yeah. They made a statement, that's their Oriole tech. Oriole tech is another directed energy weapons.
Wow. Wow, they're using a lot of different things, aren't they?
said the porno's aggressive. They said Service Gloria Dreamer. That has to go back to the boat.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's the full name of the boat.
Possibly. They said we want equipment. And then they said Message Dreamer. And that's part of the Diamond backup. Okay, so yeah, that's all the communications that I could find, at least within a 30 to 45 second marker location. Let's go to the 45-minute to 1-minute location. Did you have any other questions about that section?
Nope.
Okay. They said controller officers. That said public land grabs. So the government is forcing, it seems like through the controller's office, the comp controller's officers, it seems like they're going towards land grabs in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would probably be the state of Michigan, I'm thinking, because they're trying to get land. They've been doing that. They've been forcing people out and whatnot, and putting up, or at least saying that they're putting up like what do you call it? The green stuff. I'm trying to think what it's called. Solar panels. They were building a solar panel farm, and different things. So they
Michigan's not that sunny.
No, it's not. But we have we have all these data centers too. So they're trying to, get whatever they can for the data centers, displacing people that pay property taxes. I don't understand their reasoning here, except that they just don't care and they want to just make the economy collapse. That's what it looks like to me, and basically drive people out of Michigan altogether because our energy bills are so high. Every time they build a new solar farm or something green, it ends up costing us more money. It's not helping at all,
Well, I think that's what Trump's State of the Union was part on. They said that all companies and data centers will be underneath the company's names, that it will no longer be funded by the taxpayer dollars.
Awesome.
So I think that's what he meant by that, because these companies are third-party contractors and they are forcing land grabs and things of that nature and raising property taxes on people. I mean, land grabs have been going on for years. The government wants to control everything. They want to own everything. They want to control everything. They're not for the American people. We live in a day and age where it's not the 1900s anymore.
Well, they were doing that in the 1900s, but on a lower level. It's the railroads at that time. But yeah. James
there were different forms of land grabs.
Right.
But here it seems like they're doing that mainly through the whole entire city, through the comptroller's offices and the officers. So there may be contracts with third-party agencies in order to push people off of their property. And if they want that specific, they could possibly put you on the list just for your land.
Right. Lord have mercy. Oh, that's absolutely frightening.
It's a possibility.
It is a possibility because they've, I know that
that's why they're digging up your land. That's why they're digging up your soil. That's why they're moving products. And maybe something is in that property that you're not aware of. Have you ever done any land surveys?
No.
Like oil retention or things of that nature. I mean, there could be high valuable minerals there that you're not aware of either.
I'm in the middle of a city, though. I mean, they would have to actually eradicate, at least half the city in order to be able to do something like that. You know what I mean? It's not that big. I have 30 by 30 property, 30 feet by 30 feet. Oh. That's all it is. Yeah. So.
But sometimes if they have a railway, a highway expansion, I mean, cities are kind of weird. They go off of their funding and they don't care about the people.
Right.
And exactly. That's part of where the illegal funds are coming into play. Fraud.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how they would even try a highway or anything like that here, because we're not too far away from 75, but it's far enough that it just doesn't make any sense. Or it's at least a mile or two away from me. Maybe not that much, but you know what I'm saying? It just wouldn't make any sense to do a highway.
Right.
But to put in low-income housing that they're always screaming that they need for, working people, which to me, it's like, what what is wrong with this picture? Why don't we instead, of course, because they don't care about anybody, they care about trafficking and getting the money, right?
Right.
Why don't you instead try to figure out why people can't get into mortgages? Make it a little bit easier. Try to get the interest rates lowered. Some of these restrictions on people, eradicated. Because
well, that would mean they would have to care about the American people.
Right, exactly, and not trying to line their own pockets. Yeah.
Right, and conform to their lobbyists and the bankers.
Right.
That all has to deal with lobbyist groups and banking industries. They're the ones that control the mortgages, the rates, the interest rates, the taxes, the insurance costs. They have full control over that.
They even control the insurance? The bank does?
Well, they have a big part of it. Think about small business loans or any form of loans, housing loan.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They have a big field into that market. Depending on the bank. Most banks have come out of that, but they still do farming equipment, farmers.
Right.
They control all different aspects of life.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then, of course, you have investors, which I think that anything that touches the private sector, you should not have investors at all. It should not be allowed because they don't care about the people. They just care about getting their money, and hurting us, actually, because, they eat babies, right?
Well, that's what investors do. They put money in towards a product because they think that person is going to make a difference. Can they make $1 million product? Can I get my money back within a 6-month time period? Small businesses, even restaurants, have investors.
Right.
They have somebody to financially back them while they're building it up and trying to get customers and market from.
Yeah. That's true. I didn't think about that. But I'm thinking about the big corporations like BlackRock, Vanguard, maybe some smaller ones that are, the private equity that's eating everything alive. Look what they did to Joanne Fabrics. That's just one example of hundreds. Joanne's was making money hand over.
It's also a Christian store, too.
Oh.
I remember that whole ordeal with Joanne Fabrics. That was years ago, probably over 20 years ago. I mean, I remember that when I was 16 years old. I used to go to that store all the time after church.
Yeah.
My grandma was always into arts and crafts.
Right, okay.
I mean, I know how to sew. Things of that nature. Neck quilt, needlepoint.
Oh, awesome.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it is possibility. I'm just trying to identify the communications in here, what they're talking about, what they're discussing. So.
Yeah, because they are wrecking a lot of homes around here, so maybe that is the plan. They want to get us out of here so they could build something and not complete it. A friend of mine told me that years ago. Whoever's investing here, it has to just some connection with Russian. My perp was actually at one of these meetings, and he, my friend actually saw him. Well, shortly after that, my friend ended up getting turbo cancer, and he had a bunch of strokes. He told me that he was getting hit with a laser beam in my garage. Well, my perp had a house, his sister just down a couple houses away from me. So he could actually stand in the backyard and hit us when we were in the yard. I never really saw the laser. I think I did a few times, but I didn't know what I was looking at, right? because they were so fast. But he got hit with a laser beam, and he ended up having a bad stroke in my garage. Yeah. And he passed away.
Well, that's probably from that lightning equipment. Them connecting into the light bulbs, the LED bulbs. I mean, a light-emitting diode. That is what an LED stands for, light-emitting diode, which means it produces light sources. And that is, just because you call it a laser, doesn't mean that LED isn't capable of creating a laser. It emits light. It has different built-in settings and components into it that create those frequency ranges and can also create different wavelengths of the color spectrum. And that's why a lot of people say they see their LEDs turn different colors, especially if they're color changing capabilities, or if they have dimming light switches that are built into it. Some LEDs are motion capturing equipment.
Wow. Well, my perp actually had, and I saw it. There's a gun that looked like it was from Buck Rogers. It was a long barrel. It didn't look like it had a trigger on it. I was looking at it, and I thought this is some kind of toy, right? Because it's plastic. And he also had another one that he said was printed. You know, it was pink. And that one also did not have a trigger mechanism. And he told me they were both guns, and he uses them to shoot me with. You know, so I think that those were energy weapons, and he was using those at one time, you know, to hit me from, you know, wherever he was. And
now, here's the difference between people's ideas, okay? A directed energy weapon is anything that creates a beam, signal, wave, pulse, and or acoustic attacks. That's a directed energy directed at a single person. So anything can become a weapon system. Directed energy weapons isn't just like a high altitude, high energy laser system beaming from the sky and satellite systems.
Right.
It could be anything from a sensor to a chip to a computer to even a cell phone. All it does is matter on the frequency switching components that are built inside, along with the conversion from changing it from an alternate current to a direct current. And using those light bulbs or camera systems as a source to extract that beam and direct it at a person's physical body or that target.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it worked, because when he told me what it was, I just thought he was crazy. You know? I don't know why I just didn't believe him. Why I didn't ask more questions. I could kick myself now, you know. But yeah, he had
he's still alive?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen him periodically. I just I think it was a couple weeks ago. It's hard to tell when he drives by now because my eyes are bad, and they always have their windows tinted. He used to drive by with the windows down so I could see him, you know, so I knew it was him. But now when he drives by, it's like, oh, I think that's him. It kind of looks like him, but it could be, you know, somebody else that has similar build, you know. I have to really try to pay attention to the height, but it's really hard when I'm sitting on my porch, you know. trying to figure out how tall this person is because he's short. So sometimes I think I do see him, driving past once in a while. In fact, he was just here in the house yesterday, the day before, because I'm his eighth victim. He'll take the eighth ring off his curtain and let it hang to kind of let me know that he was here. So that just happened. I haven't taken a picture of it yet.
Okay. I mean, that's symbolic. So he was attacking you, or he blamed you for attacking him?
No, he was attacking me, and he was attacking my friend, too. But I had no idea at that time what was going on, and I thought Joel, because he had brain cancer, that he was hallucinating a little bit. Well, it didn't take him, and he got sick, and he stayed sick for a long time, and then he got to the point where he couldn't move anymore. And
sometimes hallucinogens open up like a third eye capability in order you to see light forms easier. That's why so many people see in colors when they're on psychedelic drugs. I'm not saying that he took drugs like shrooms or acid or LSD or anything like that. I'm just saying even medication has those cognitive function behaviors to where they could see light sources. Even some of my clients have said that they've been able to see the physical beam come down from the sky. And that could be due from medication because it opens up a lot of neurons inside of the brain to where your body could physically almost see like a 3D matrix almost, and you see different forms of light sources that can, with projections, that's why they say they cause hallucinations. Right. Well, he had the brain. But in reality, it's not. No, I don't think so anymore. When he told me that, I thought, okay. Well, it was a little while later, I was talking to my neighbor, and he said he could see, like, Star Wars happening on my garage. He was actually watching beams hitting my garage. Now, two people cannot see the same doggone thing, right? If they're hallucinating. And I just kind of thought, okay, I don't know what that could be. I was trying to think in practical terms. It was somehow coming from the street light or something like that that's in the alley. I don't know. I was trying to make sense of it, but of course I couldn't. And now I know what it is. But back then I had no idea. So Joe was not lying. He saw what he saw. And there were times when I was in the yard and I thought I saw something just whooshed right past me, And I'm like, what did I just see? But it happened so fast, I thought I was just kind of seeing things. But I don't think I was, because I was over by the garage. And that's where he would aim at all the time, my perp. So if he was in that backyard, a couple houses away from me, he could just stick that little nozzle right through the fence line and hit us. So we can't see anything over there because it's a wooden. As long as he has a direct line of sight. Right. I mean, lasers do bounce, beams do bounce, they do reflect, and they do reflect and refract, basically off of light sources or glass or other different forms of materials. But usually, if they're adding that green laser, that's where the musical